Hello my lads, what is up? On the previous episode, we established a few Christian allies at the expense of the Ottoman Empire, and we also firmly established our control over Central Asia, which means that in a future hypothetical war with the English, for example, if the Crimean War fires that way, then I will have an entrance into India. That being said, those wars were quite a bit costly, and a huge portion of my army is depleted in terms of soldier pops. And also, my infamy got a little bit high, which means that I will have to take it easy for a few years. And speaking about pops, my promotion rates are completely abysmal, and that's most likely due to the fact that 27% of my population are serfs, which is really unfortunate. I am sure that if I could abolish serfdom right now, things could be much better, but I simply don't have enough militancy for that. Anyways. So, with both medicine and education tech being up to date, I think that I will go with army professionalism. I also have the option to give state status to these Siberian colonies of mine, but I don't think that I will do so because I want to take advantage of colonial migration a little bit more. Oh, and in case you were wondering, I had made a mistake here in Afghanistan. I was under the impression that the great game Casus Belli would eventually lead to their annexation, but I was told later by people that this wasn't the case. So I gave this territory back to me to fix the border guard that was created as a result. And to make up for it, I will, in a few years, I will remove the the puppet status that they have, and they will simply be under my sphere, much like Persia is. You know, I had kind of forgotten about the Baltic provinces, and I forgot to sphere them, and I just noticed how the Prussians discredit me, and as you can see right here, you don't really get a bonus for being the master of a country. And if you ask me, if you are on the process of spinning a country that is your puppet, I think that at the very least you should have a like 200% bonus. I think that would definitely make sense. Anyways. So I just thought about it, and I believe that it would be a good idea for me to get influence within the Ottoman Empire to prevent something like the Germans fearing them from happening, and thus I will have exclusive control over them. Oh, I can't because we have a truce. I will have to wait for a couple of years first. So I suppose that the Spanish might get to sphere them before my truce with them ends. And for a large country like Russia, I can't help but feel that it would be great for the game if there was a fourth map mode, similarly to how there is a railroad map mode. Because the only way you can check out which provinces need a fort upgrade is by your eye or by clicking on the province and checking out if there is a fort. There really isn't any other better way or more efficient way. Oh, and I got another event to liberate the Bulgarian cores, similarly to how on the previous episode I got one on Serbia, though I couldn't use that one. That's nice. Curiously, even though Egypt is under the French sphere of influence, the French do not seem to object to me trying to wrestle control out of them. So yeah, it looks like I might be able to take Egypt for myself without fighting with France over it. Spain, on the other hand, is being really annoying and they are constantly spamming my spheres. Oh, and what's this? A third Caucasian rebellion? Let's see. Yeah, holy shit. And apparently on this one of my armies, like half of their troops actually came from that province, so they all rebelled, which really sucks. Now I will have to recruit new troops for all of my armies that got depleted as a result of this rebellion and send them all over again, which really is one of the negatives of Victoria 2. Constantly having to micromanage your 415 armies. Anyways, let's deal with this rebellion. So the French really ended up not intervening at all, which means that Egypt is now under my sphere of influence. I am also considering breaking down my alliances with some of my Balkan allies like Greece and Bulgaria, so that in the event that the Crimean War starts, which it should start I think in 4 years, then the French and the British will not be able to attack them and gain a war score at my expense without me being able to do much about it. Or maybe I will keep them, who knows, I am not sure. Internationally speaking, so far I was kind of left out, but Austria just asked for an alliance. Apparently the Americans broke down their alliance with me, probably due to my high infamy. And I was going to accept the Austrian proposal since they are a continental nation that I can easily assist. And I have access to them in the event of a war, and they should be able to help me against Prussia, for example. But I also noticed that France would also not say no to an alliance. And it's a little bit tough for me to pick. I think that I will be sticking with Austria after all. Yeah, I think that Austria is the correct option. Good. Biologism just got unlocked, so I will immediately go for it. So my truce with the Ottomans just ended. And since the Spanish are on friendly terms with them, they will likely intervene if I attack them. And it doesn't really look that I will be able to get much influence with them thanks to my terrible relations. But I think that I will attack them anyways. I am not particularly worried about Spain. I also have this casus belli to liberate the Bulgarian cause, which actually doesn't work that way. That thing about Bulgaria was just flavor. You can actually use it for whatever country you want, which is weird. I could use it for Serbia, for example. But that being said, if I declare war and asked for my allies' assistance, even the Austrians would help me. So yeah, I think that I am going to go for it. I mean, they don't have an army, I have strong allies, Spain isn't a particularly worrisome opponent, I have a free casus belli, so why not? The real question though is, which ally do I help get their cores back? On a second thought, however, I think that I will wait for a few years for my infamy to go out. After all, I will have this casus belli available for at least 5 years. And the reason why I will do that is because I just realized that Constantinople is no longer their capital is Ankara. And justifying a casus belli to get it will take around 11 infamy, which I cannot afford right now, but which I will be able to afford in a few years, Obviously, I could try and do it and, risk it, or to be honest, I could even save scam it, even though I don't really do such a thing. I mean, I don't like doing it, but I'm sure a guy would be like, oh, Johan, you could just save scam it, why didn't you do it? But no, I will just wait for a bunch of years to be on the safe side. So, with around 50 brigades of Jacobins ready to rebel and with a suffrage movement of 1.4 million, I think that I will grant some voting rights, not because I really care about those Jacobins. Under normal circumstances, I would just massacre them all, but because this event to abolish the serfdom earlier, it requires me to be a constitutional monarchy, and really there isn't really any downside to being a constitutional monarchy instead of an absolute one. Only real downside that I can think of is the fact that you cannot use the genocide decision, which I will not be using anyways for this campaign. So yeah, I think that I will do that. So now I am a semi-constitutional monarchy, and I think that one or two more suffrage reforms will turn me into a constitutional monarchy, and it will allow me to pass that decision in order to remove serfdom, since my militancy is really low, and I would not be able to pass it otherwise. Wait a second, did Austria break its alliance with me for no reason? That's weird. I'll just accept again. And we just had a little of a Jacobin uprising, but to me it looks more like a Polish-Lithuanian uprising than a Jacobin one. Anyways, I suppose we will crush them. Oh, and Austria just became Austria-Hungary. So the rebellion is more or less down, but something more important just popped up. It appears that the North German Federation has formed and is attacking Austria-Hungary for hegemony over the southern German principalities. So yeah, even though war with Germany wasn't originally in my initial plans, taking into consideration of the fact that they are getting pretty strong, they are pretty strong right now, and they will only get much stronger if I allow them to form, and the fact that they are the attacker in this instance, and I have an obligation to help the Austrians, I think that I have no choice but to get involved in this war. Yep. So let's mobilize. We will definitely need to mobilize for that. And I should also make a few rally points for my mobilized infantry. I have a few armies right here on the border with China. I won't take them, I will only take this one guy here and these Central Asian guys. And I will also take advantage of my naval superiority over them and immediately send over my fleet to start building up some war score. So far things are going relatively good, I'd say. We just won a big battle here. My fleet is winning here, though I believe that we took a bunch of casualties. But who cares? So yeah, let's continue. Yeah, so the naval battle just concluded. We lost 11 ships, 7 of which were transports though, but in exchange we crushed the majority of their fleet, which now means that we will be able to blockade the entire North German coast with complete impunity. We are also dealing with a lone German army here in Galicia, even though we are taking our fair share of casualties. And yeah, I will just wipe them here and now instead of allowing them to replenish. So yeah, these guys are gone. The remnants of the German Navy somehow managed to sneak past my main naval force. I have no idea how, probably due to the retreat invincibility. Anyways, I just got them again. I am occupying German territory in Prussia. More of my reinforcements are appearing on the fronts. Things are looking great so far. The Austrian southern German allies are also doing a very good job on their own. They deserve plenty of credit for our upcoming victory. So yeah, the German fleet has been destroyed, their entire coastline is blockaded, the eastern front has collapsed for them. They are really done at this point, there is nothing they could do. I mean, if I'm going to criticize the AI for a little bit, how on the earth can Prussia just attack Austria like that, even though they know that they are allied with me? Did the AI really believe that they could take both of us on? I don't understand. In the end, perhaps I overreacted a little bit. Mobilizing really wasn't that necessary. And it looks like Berlin is just about to fall. And yeah, with Berlin falling, Germany surrendered within a few weeks. Those were the Austrian terms. They pretty much just liberated a couple of North German principalities. Strategically, I do not believe that this will be a massive blow to the Prussians on the long term. If they are allowed to recover, this will definitely not be much of a thorn to their side. But obviously, getting defeated like that also doesn't help them at all, neither does it increase their chances of ever unifying Germany. Anyways, I think that this is going to be it for this video. I expected that the highlight of this episode was going to be the Crimean War, but this war with Germany kind of was unexpected and it kind of interrupted my plans. So yeah, on the next episode, as long as my infamy is low enough, I will probably going to make a move to reclaim Constantinople and establish Tsargrad. We will also probably be building the Suez Canal sooner rather than later, and China is also within my plans. I obviously want the historical Russian territory of Vladivostok, but I will also be considering about completely integrating Manchuria into the Russian Empire. Thank you guys for being always there to watch my videos, and I will see you on the next one. Also, Papadopoulos was not a collaborator. He fought on the Albanian front against the Italians. Then, after the Germans defeated us, he returned to Athens. He studied there on the university, he married there, he got a job there. There is a completely unsubstantiated report that he was helping to feed collaborationist troops in Patras. But not only is it not confirmed, but even if it was somehow true, still he was just feeding them, he wasn't actually a member of their organization. That rumor aside, there are multiple confirmed reports that he attempted to flee from the German occupation. He tried to flee in Egypt in order to join the Greek resistance, and by all reasonable means, Papadopoulos was a patriot and he was not a collaborator. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.